What if your entire life could change, just by doing the thing you're avoiding right now? Pause for a second. Really think about it. How different would your life look if you stopped waiting, if you stopped hesitating, if you stopped making excuses? Because here's the truth. Nothing changes until you do. No dream, no goal, no plan matters until you take action. That's the cold, uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. They want to feel ready first. They want to feel motivated. They want the perfect timing. But life doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who move. And maybe that's where you're stuck right now. Not because you're lazy, not because you're weak, but because you've been tricked into thinking you need to feel good before you do something hard. And that lie has kept more people stuck than any failure ever has. This video is for the part of you that knows it's time. Time to stop thinking. Time to stop doubting. Time to stop pretending that someday is real. If you stay with this video until the end, you'll unlock a part of your mind that's been asleep. You'll learn how to take control, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because the truth is, action isn't something you wait for, it's something you force. And yes, that sounds harsh, yes, that sounds painful, but that pain, that resistance, that voice telling you to sit down and try again tomorrow, that's the wall you need to break. And on the other side of that wall, freedom, progress, a version of you you've never seen before. Listen carefully. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, it started the same way. They did it scared. They did it tired. They did it unprepared. But they did it anyway. Because they knew something most people never figure out. Action doesn't come after confidence. Confidence comes after action. This is where the world gets it backwards. We think we need to believe in ourselves before we move. We think we need to feel ready before we take the first step. But waiting for that perfect moment is exactly why people stay stuck for years. You don't need to believe fully yet. You just need to move. Right now, your life is a reflection of the actions you've taken or avoided. And if that stings a little, good, let it sting. Because that sting means you still care. It means there's something inside of you that refuses to settle. The problem is, your mind is too smart for its own good. It knows your fears, it knows your weaknesses, and it knows exactly how to convince you that you should wait, that maybe tomorrow will feel better, that maybe next week you'll feel stronger. But here's what your brain doesn't tell you. Every time you delay action, you make the wall taller. Every time you hesitate, the resistance grows stronger. Until one day, even taking a small step feels like climbing a mountain. You have to break the cycle. You have to move before your mind talks you out of it. Because the longer you wait, the more your potential rots in silence. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something uncomfortable on purpose? When was the last time you moved even when it felt impossible? That's where your power is. That's where growth lives. It's not in the easy days. It's not in the smooth routines. It's in the moments where everything in you screams not today, and you still move. That's how winners are made. That's how legacies are born. Not through perfect plans, but through imperfect action. Relentless, messy, uncomfortable action. And maybe you've failed before. Maybe you've tried to be consistent and slipped. Maybe you've started something and quit halfway. That's okay. That's human. But this time, don't stop at starting. Don't stop at trying. Force yourself to finish. Force yourself to act again, even if you've failed 10 times before. Because one move today is stronger than 1,000 regrets tomorrow. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when fear disappears. There will never be a day where the universe opens the door and says, now you're ready. No, you make yourself ready. You stand up, you act. You fight back against your own hesitation. This video, this message, it's not just motivation. It's a wake-up call, a reminder that your life is passing by every second you wait. So don't wait for the feeling to come. Become the person who acts in spite of fear, the one who doesn't ask for permission, the one who builds a life brick by brick, through action. By the end of this video, if you stay with me, you won't just feel fired up. You'll understand how to take control of your mind. You'll learn how to push through even when everything inside you tells you to quit. You'll unlock the one power that separates winners from dreamers: action. So don't pause, don't save it for later. You started this for a reason, now finish it for a future. Let's move forward. You don't stay stuck because you're broken. You stay stuck because your brain is doing exactly what it's wired to do: protect you. Not from danger, but from discomfort. Every time you think about doing something hard, starting a business, waking up early, changing your body, breaking an old habit, your mind quietly whispers, wait. Think about it. Let's figure it out later. It doesn't scream. It doesn't panic. It just gently pulls you back into safety, into comfort, into the place where nothing grows. That's not weakness, that's survival mode. You were designed to avoid pain. Your mind sees risk, judgment, failure, and it thinks it's protecting your life. But here's the truth, what it's really protecting is your past, your routines, your patterns, your limits. The moment you try to rise above that, resistance shows up. Not in the form of obstacles, but in the form of hesitation, overthinking, doubt. It's not that you're lost. It's that you've been conditioned to fear the unknown more than you fear regret. And the most dangerous part? This happens quietly. You'll tell yourself it's logic, that you need more time, more research, more energy, but what you really need is movement. Because if you stay still long enough, stillness becomes your prison. You convince yourself that where you are is good enough, that maybe your dreams are too big, that maybe success is for other people. This is how average is created, not through failure, but through fear disguised as comfort. The longer you sit in comfort, the more painful change starts to feel. Even if you hate where you are, comfort has a voice. It tells you to settle. It tells you that small is safe, that trying again might hurt, that disappointment isn't worth the risk. And so, day by day, you shrink. Not because you want to, but because you've accepted a silent deal. I'll trade growth for certainty. I'll trade progress for peace. But it's not real peace. It's quiet suffering, the kind that eats you slowly. You wake up feeling numb. You scroll, you watch, you wait. You tell yourself tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow is built on today. And today, you stayed stuck. Here's what no one tells you. Clarity comes from action, not from thinking. You can spend hours planning, weeks dreaming, months preparing. But if you never move, you never learn. You can't think your way into a new life. You have to act your way into one. The reason you don't feel ready isn't because you're not capable. It's because you've built the habit of hesitation. A mental loop that replays every time you face a challenge. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if it doesn't work? But ask yourself, what if it does? What if you're exactly who you need to be, and the only thing missing is action? This is where most people stop, right at the edge of the unknown, not because the step is too big, but because the fear is too loud. They'd rather stay in a familiar prison than step into unfamiliar freedom. They'd rather stay predictable, even if it means staying powerless. But that's not you anymore. You didn't come this far to stay here. You felt the weight of stuckness long enough. The ache of watching time pass while your potential stays locked away. You know what it feels like to lie to yourself, telling everyone you're fine when you're really just afraid. Now it's time to stop obeying fear. Stop treating hesitation like it's truth. Start recognizing that the discomfort you're avoiding is the exact doorway to your next level. Your mind will always offer you comfort first. That's its job. But your job is different. Your job is to choose what's right over what's easy, to choose growth over safety, to choose movement over excuses. And no, it won't feel natural at first, because comfort has been your home for too long. But the longer you stay stuck, the louder the voice inside you will become, the voice that says, you're meant for more. That voice is your truth. That voice is your signal, not to run, not to hide, but to step forward, even if it's shaky, even if it's slow, even if you've failed before, because every time you act, you weaken fear's grip. Every step forward rewires your mind. Every push through hesitation becomes proof that you're stronger than the limits you believed in. There is no perfect moment, there is only now, and now is begging for your decision. Will you keep obeying comfort, or will you start choosing progress, one action at a time? You already know the answer. You've always known. Now you just need to prove it. Most people are waiting to feel something before they do something. They sit, they scroll, they wait for that spark, believing it will wake them up and push them forward. They wait for motivation. But motivation is not real power. It's a feeling, a mood, a temporary state. And feelings are not stable. They rise, they fall, they shift with the weather, the time of day, the people around you. If your actions depend on how you feel, you'll never be consistent. You'll move one day and freeze the next. You'll rise with excitement and crash with doubt. Motivation makes promises it can't keep. It tells you, one day, you'll feel ready. But readiness isn't something that appears out of nowhere. It's something you build through movement. You don't feel motivated and then take action. You take action, and motivation starts to show up. Waiting for motivation is like standing at the edge of a cold pool, hoping the water gets warmer. But it won't. You have to jump in. The warmth comes after the shock, and that's exactly how it works with action. You push first, you move first. Then, slowly, your mind starts to follow, not the other way around. Every time you sit still, telling yourself you're not ready, you're training your brain to believe you need permission. You don't. You need discipline. You need direction. You need to act even when your emotions beg you to stop. Real progress isn't emotional, it's mechanical. It's built from showing up when it's boring, from pushing through when it's dull, from refusing to rely on energy that fades with time. The people who get ahead aren't the ones who are always fired up. They're the ones who do the work, regardless of how they feel. They understand that showing up is the trigger for progress, not the result of it. That's where most people lose. They think success belongs to those who are always passionate, always hyped, always inspired. But the truth is, success belongs to those who show up when there's no hype at all. That early morning when your bed feels heavy and your body aches, that's where your future is built. That lonely hour when no one is watching and quitting would be easy, that's where your discipline is formed. Not in the loud moments, not in the highlight reels, but in the quiet, in the repetition, in the silence. There's nothing wrong with feeling unmotivated. That's part of being human. But letting that feeling control your actions, that's where you lose control of your life. Imagine what would happen if you stopped needing to feel good to do good, if you stopped needing fire in your chest, just to take one step forward. Imagine how far you could go if you simply decided to move, every single day, no matter what. The truth is, your future doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care if you're tired, uninspired, or uncertain. It only cares about what you do. And the more you do, the more your mind adapts. The more strength you build, the more momentum you carry. Momentum doesn't start with motivation. It starts with movement. Small steps, simple tasks, the moments you don't want to move, but do anyway. That's where power is found. That's where your edge is built. Every time you move when you don't feel like it, you teach your brain something new. You show yourself that feelings are not leaders. That action comes first, that you are in control, not your emotions. You weren't born to wait for energy. You were born to create it, not by thinking, not by dreaming, but by doing. Doing builds belief. Doing creates clarity. Doing is the spark that motivation promises but rarely delivers. When you stop waiting to feel right, you start building habits that last. You stop chasing highs and start creating discipline. You stop relying on the outside world to move you, and you begin to move yourself. That's the shift. That's the difference between those who try and those who win. Trying is emotional. Winning is intentional. Trying comes and goes. But intention stays. It doesn't care about the mood, the weather, or the clock. It only cares about the mission. Right now, you have a choice. You can keep sitting, hoping for that perfect wave of motivation. Or you can stand up, start moving, and let the momentum pull you forward. The only thing stopping you is the belief that you need to feel something first. You don't. You need to act. You need to move. You need to choose progress over comfort again and again until it becomes who you are. Don't wait. Don't wish. Just start. Because once you begin, everything changes. And that spark you've been waiting for, it's not ahead of you. It's inside of you, buried under the weight of hesitation. Now move. Not when it feels right, not when it's easy. There's a reason it feels so hard to get started. A reason your body feels heavy, your thoughts slow down, and your energy disappears the moment you try to push forward. That resistance isn't imaginary. It's real, and it's built into your brain. You were designed to survive, not to succeed. Your mind's first job is to keep you safe, not happy, not fulfilled, just safe. And to your brain, anything unfamiliar feels unsafe. That's why change feels uncomfortable. Why stepping toward a new goal feels like a threat. Why doing something you've never done before triggers hesitation. It's not because you're lazy. It's because your system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Avoid anything that might cause pain, failure, or discomfort. This is resistance. It's not a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's a protective response. But what protected you thousands of years ago, running from danger, avoiding risk, now holds you back from becoming who you're meant to be. You're not being chased by wild animals. You're trying to chase dreams. But your brain reacts the same way. It senses uncertainty, and it shuts the door. Resistance shows up in many forms: overthinking, procrastination, fatigue, distractions. Suddenly, everything becomes more important than the thing you need to do. That's not an accident. It's a strategy your mind uses to pull you back into the familiar, into the routine, into the comfort zone. But here's what your brain doesn't understand. Growth only happens in discomfort. The things that feel hard are the exact things that move you forward. The more resistance you feel, the more it matters. That pressure isn't a stop sign. It's a signal. It means you're on the edge of something meaningful, something that matters to your future. The mind doesn't resist things that don't matter. It doesn't fight over distractions or empty habits. But the moment you try to level up, it hits back. That's how you know you're in the right place. If it feels uncomfortable, if your excuses get louder, if your fear gets stronger, you're standing right at the doorway of growth. This is where most people turn back, because they think resistance means not now. They confuse it with a lack of readiness. But readiness has nothing to do with it. It's not about feeling prepared. It's about knowing the fight is part of the process. The only way through resistance is through it. You don't wait for it to go away. You face it head on. And the more you do, the weaker it becomes. Your brain is like a muscle, and resistance is the weight. You push against it. You strain. You get stronger. Not by avoiding the pressure, but by learning to move under it. This is how powerful habits are built. Not in the moments where everything feels smooth, but in the moments where everything inside you wants to stop. And you don't. You move anyway. Every time you override resistance, even in small ways, you change your wiring. You train your brain to stop reacting in fear. You teach it that discomfort doesn't mean danger, it means progress. At first, it will fight you. It will give you every reason to quit, to delay, to pause. But the mind is also trainable. It adapts. It listens to patterns. If you keep showing up, the resistance gets quieter. Not because the challenges disappear, but because your strength grows. That's the science. Action breaks the cycle. Motion rewires the mind. Discipline reshapes the default settings you've lived with for years. The only thing you need to do is begin. Not perfectly, not powerfully. Just begin, because resistance is loudest at the beginning. Once you move, even just a little, something shifts. Your focus sharpens. Your energy rises. Your emotions follow your effort. This is how you take control. Not by wishing resistance away, but by respecting it, and then acting anyway. There's no shortcut around it. No hack, no trick. Only this: when your mind resists, your job is to respond, not retreat. It won't feel natural at first, but over time it becomes who you are. A person who acts, not reacts. A person who moves forward, no matter the internal noise. A person who has trained their mind to obey purpose, not emotion. That's the edge. That's the secret. And it's not just for the gifted. It's for the committed. Because resistance doesn't go away completely. It just loses its power over the ones who refuse to stop. Let that be you. Let every wave of hesitation be your cue to move. Let every excuse be your signal to double down. You are not weak for feeling resistance. You are human, but you become powerful when you stop listening to it. So the next time your mind tells you to wait, act faster. The next time you feel heavy, take the first step. The next time it feels impossible, remind yourself that resistance is just proof you're on the right path. Push forward, not in spite of resistance. Because of it. Pain is not the enemy. It's a message. It's a signal that something inside you is waking up. Most people run from pain. They avoid it, numb it, hide it behind distractions. But the truth is, pain is proof that you're alive. It's the fire that tells you something must change. You feel pain when you're not where you're supposed to be. When the life you're living doesn't match the life you know you could create. That tension, that deep discomfort, it's not weakness, it's the beginning of transformation. You weren't built to stay numb. You weren't meant to go through life avoiding every struggle. Pain is your body, your heart, your mind all shouting, wake up, move, break free. The most dangerous place you can be is not in pain. It's in comfort that you no longer notice. The kind of life where nothing hurts because nothing matters anymore. That's not peace, that's slow death. Real growth always starts with discomfort. Every breakthrough is born in moments that feel impossible. Every powerful decision begins with something that shakes you. So if you're feeling stuck, empty, frustrated, good, that means you're still in the fight. It means something inside you refuses to settle. It means you're still connected to your higher potential. Pain only shows up when you're close to something important. It doesn't chase people who've given up. It hunts those who still have something left inside. You see, pain isn't punishment. It's a call to action. It's not telling you to quit. It's telling you to move. But most people get it wrong. They feel the pressure and back off. They feel the fear and freeze. They think pain means stop, but it actually means push. Think of a muscle under tension. It burns, it shakes, but that pain is the signal that it's growing. Without that stress, nothing changes. Your life works the same way. The pressure you feel before a leap, the fear before you speak your truth, the discomfort of doing something new, that's your personal resistance being torn down. That's your strength being built. You will never escape pain completely, so stop trying. Instead, learn how to use it. When you feel it, don't pull back. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What am I avoiding that I need to face? What is this pain pushing me toward? There's always something behind it. A next level, a buried truth, a decision you've been postponing. Pain shows up to guide you to those places. It forces your attention where it needs to be. It makes it impossible to ignore what actually matters. Don't let that moment go to waste. Don't silence pain with fake comfort. Don't bury it under distractions. Use it. Let it drive you. Let it remind you that you're capable of more. Let it become the reason you stand up, not the excuse to stay down. The people who rise don't do it because their path is painless. They rise through the pain. They feel the same fear, the same doubt, the same weight. But they choose to move, even while it hurts. That choice is what separates the ones who grow from the ones who stay the same. You have that choice too, right now. You can decide to let pain break you, or you can decide to let it build you, because pain will shape you either way. But you get to decide how. When it shows up, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "What now?" Don't fall into the trap of self-pity. Stand up inside yourself and face it. Feel it fully, then turn it into fuel. Channel it into movement. Channel it into discipline. Channel it into the version of you that you've been avoiding. Every strong person you know carries a story of struggle. Every leader, every fighter, every champion. They all have moments where it hurt, where they wanted to quit. But they kept going, not because it was easy, but because they learned to walk with pain instead of running from it. That's real strength. It's not found in pretending everything's fine. It's found in showing up when it's not. You don't become unshakable by avoiding storms. You become unshakable by walking through them and realizing they can't break you. That pain you're carrying, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're not done yet. It's the part of your story where everything begins to shift if you let it. You've already made it through things you thought would destroy you. So don't doubt your power now. Don't waste this moment waiting for life to get easier. Let it make you stronger. Stand in the fire and remind yourself, this is where I rise. This is where I take back control. This is where everything changes. Because it's not pain that defines you. It's what you do with it. You don't have to take a giant leap to change your life. You just have to take one small step and then another. Progress isn't built on dramatic moves. It's built on consistent motion. Even when that motion feels too small to matter, too many people wait until they can move perfectly, until they have the full plan, until they feel strong enough to go all in. But that mindset builds nothing. It only leads to more delay, more pressure, and more disappointment. The truth is, great things are built from small actions repeated over time. The greatest transformations don't start with bold declarations. They begin in silence, early mornings, uncomfortable choices, daily effort that no one sees. That first 10 minutes of work, that one healthy meal, that one page you read, that first walk instead of another excuse. Those moments look ordinary from the outside, but inside, they are life-changing. Because every small decision is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Each one is proof to your mind that you're no longer stuck, that you're moving, that you've chosen change. It doesn't have to be big to be powerful. It just has to be done. The biggest lie your mind tells you is this: if it's not massive, it doesn't count. But that's not true. Every expert, every master, every high performer. You see the result, but not the process. What built their strength was the small daily movements done long before anyone noticed. They showed up when it was boring. They practiced when it felt pointless. They moved when no one was watching. That's how power is built, in the unseen hours, in the tiny efforts, in the private choices, in the parts of the day where quitting is easy but you don't. You don't have to climb the whole mountain today. You only need to take the next step. One focused action, one decision to follow through. And if you do that again tomorrow, you're already ahead of 90% of people, because most never begin. They stay paralyzed, waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. Creates clarity. It's not the other way around. You don't figure everything out first and then start. You start, and through the act of doing, you begin to understand. Small actions break the cycle of fear. They interrupt the loop of overthinking. They silence the voice of doubt. Not all at once, but one step at a time. If you feel stuck, don't focus on changing everything. Focus on changing one thing, and stick to it, just one. Because momentum is built, not found. Think about it. You don't go from weak to strong in a day. You don't go from chaos to discipline in a week, but each small movement builds trust with yourself. You start to believe that you can do hard things. You begin to realize that motion is more important than motivation, that showing up beats perfection every time. The people who succeed are not those who go the hardest for 1 week. They're the ones who move steadily for 1 year. They're the ones who show up on the days they feel off, tired, uninspired, and still do something, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's not impressive, even if no one notices. Because success is not a spotlight moment. It's a trail of quiet, repeated steps that eventually lead somewhere powerful. You can build a new identity with small movements. Each one rewires your brain. Each one breaks the old patterns. Each one becomes part of who you are. That's how you go from being someone who wants to change to being someone who does. And once you start, something inside you wakes up. You begin to look forward instead of backward. You feel momentum instead of regret. You carry energy instead of excuses. The power is not in the size of the step. The power is in your willingness to keep stepping, no matter what. Start where you are, not where you wish you were. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be present and moving. And if you fall off track, start again. One small move resets everything. It reminds you that you're still in control, because you always are. Every moment is a new chance, a chance to do one thing right, a chance to move with purpose, even when life feels messy. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait until it looks impressive. Don't wait for permission. Just move. Even if it's slow, even if it's quiet, even if it's invisible to everyone but you. You don't need to shock the world today. You just need to shift your direction, because once you're moving, even slowly, you're no longer stuck. And that's how change begins. Not in the noise, not in the hype, but in the simple decision to take one small step forward every single day. Your mind is your most powerful tool, but only if you learn how to train it. Just like your body needs resistance to grow, your mind needs challenge to become stronger. You can't think your way into strength. You build it through repetition, through pressure, through showing up even when your emotions don't want you to. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a practice. It's something you create by doing the hard things over and over again until they become who you are. The same way muscles respond to consistent training, your thoughts respond to consistent choices. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're rewiring your brain. Every time you choose effort over comfort, you're changing your internal wiring. Not instantly, not in one day, but over time, through small, deliberate action repeated without negotiation. You're not born with mental strength. You become mentally strong by pushing through resistance, by doing what's uncomfortable until it becomes normal. You see, your brain wants to stay efficient. It loves routines. It loves patterns, even if those patterns are keeping you stuck. That's why real change feels so hard at first, because you're forcing your mind to think in new ways. And that burns energy. But energy is never wasted when it's spent on growth. You can train your mind to crave challenge, to find meaning in struggle, to rise instead of retreat. But like any training, it takes commitment. It takes showing up when you don't feel like it. It takes doing the work, not for the reward, but to become the kind of person who never quits. Think about how muscles grow. You don't grow them by lifting the lightest weight forever. You grow by adding pressure, by reaching the point where it burns, and then doing one more rep. That last rep, that's where the growth happens. Your mind works the same way. The moment you want to give up, the moment your thoughts tell you enough, that's your mental edge. That's where your training begins. That's where most people stop. But you have a different choice. You can keep going. Not because it's easy, but because you've trained yourself to push past your limits, not live under them. Training your mind starts with catching it. Notice the thoughts that pull you backward. The ones that say, you can't. The ones that say, maybe later. Those thoughts are not you. They are patterns, old programming. You don't argue with them. You outwork them. You outlast them. You drown them in action. That's how you reprogram your mindset. Not with hope, not with wishful thinking, with discipline, with grit, with choices made over and over until they become instinct. When you make a decision and follow through, even when it's uncomfortable, you're telling your mind, I'm in charge now. That message grows louder the more you act on it. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel strong. But if you stay consistent, your actions will build both. Because repetition doesn't just build habits, it builds belief. It changes your self-image. You stop saying, I hope I can, and start saying, this is who I am. The strongest minds aren't the ones who never feel weak. They're the ones who refuse to let weakness decide their next move. They feel fear, but they act anyway. They feel tired, but they show up. They feel doubt, but they don't stop. They've trained their mind to follow direction, not emotion, to follow intention, not convenience. That's not magic. That's mental training. And training doesn't require perfection. It requires effort. It requires patience. You might fall off. You might slip. But if you get back up every single time, you're still building strength. That's the mindset that wins. The one that says, even when it's hard, I keep going. Because the goal isn't ease. The goal is power. Power over your time. Power over your habits. Power over your story. You don't have to master everything today. You just need to master the moment in front of you. One action, one task, one decision done right. Then repeat it tomorrow. Then again, until it becomes automatic. This is how champions are built, not from one massive act of willpower, but from thousands of small wins no one else sees. Wins that compound over time and shape an unbreakable mind. You are fully capable of building that mind. It's already inside you. You just have to train it like a muscle, and the longer you train it, the less it resists you, because now it knows who's in control. So start today, not with a huge change, but with a strong choice. Not with motivation, but with movement. Not with emotion, but with discipline repeated until it becomes your new normal. Your mind will follow your lead, if you have the courage to lead it. There's a moment every day when your mind offers you a way out. It sounds reasonable. It sounds calm. It sounds like, just skip today. Or, you've done enough already. Or even, you'll do it later. That voice is not your friend. It's the part of you that wants safety more than growth. It wants comfort, not transformation. And if you entertain that voice, even for a second, it grows louder. Because every negotiation with it gives it more power. You don't grow by making deals with your weaknesses. You grow by drawing a line, by deciding this is non-negotiable. You don't debate with discipline. You execute. This is where most people fall. Not because they're incapable, not because they don't have goals, but because they keep giving their feelings the final vote. If your energy decides your actions, your progress will always be unstable. Some days you'll move, some days you'll wait. But discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline moves anyway. The key to true strength is to silence the debate before it begins. The moment your alarm goes off, the mind wants to talk. The moment the work gets tough, the mind wants options. But freedom comes when you remove the option to quit. You decide ahead of time, this is happening no matter what. You show up not because it's easy, but because it's what you do now. That's identity. That's ownership. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to live on the terms of their excuses. When you stop negotiating, you build something far more powerful than motivation. You build trust. You begin to believe yourself. You become someone who follows through, not once, not sometimes, but always. That kind of person walks differently. They speak differently. They don't wait for conditions. They create them. They don't hope for strength. They build it. No one gets to the top by listening to their lazy thoughts. They get there by shutting them down, by answering with action, not more thinking. You don't need to feel like it to do it. You don't need the perfect mood to give your best. You don't need ideal timing to get started. You just need to stop arguing with your mission. Every time you hesitate, you create room for excuses. Every delay weakens your decision. The mind will always take the easier road, unless you interrupt it. Don't let that small voice inside dictate your direction. It doesn't care about your growth. It only cares about staying safe. But safety doesn't bring success. Growth does. And growth demands pressure. You weren't built to stay still. You weren't designed to back down. You're wired to evolve, to fight, to rise. But evolution comes at a cost. And that cost is comfort. If you want a better life, start by making your standards non-negotiable. Make your effort non-negotiable. Make your goals non-negotiable. You can't move like a warrior if you keep asking for rest every time the road gets hard. When your standards become rules, not suggestions, everything changes. You don't think about quitting anymore. You don't consider skipping anymore. You just act. That's where real progress happens. When you act without giving yourself a way out. When your goals aren't up for debate. When your actions aren't optional. Winners don't have stronger feelings. They have stronger rules. They operate by decisions made in advance. They commit and they move. Not because it's easy, but because it's aligned with who they've chosen to become. So ask yourself, what have you made optional that should be mandatory? Where have you let your comfort negotiate your consistency? Where have you made promises but not drawn the line that says no more excuses? You don't need to wait for more willpower. You need to decide, clearly and completely, draw the line once, and never cross it. You don't owe your weakness a conversation. You owe your purpose your action. You owe your future your discipline. You owe your dream your silence in the face of doubt. Don't let the voice of later steal another day. Don't let the feeling of not now win again. Every time you delay, you feed the belief that quitting is acceptable. But every time you show up, even tired, even distracted, even afraid, you build the belief that nothing can stop you. That belief becomes your identity. That identity becomes your advantage. And that advantage becomes your legacy. You are the only one who can take that power back. No one will silence your excuses for you. No one will enforce your standards but you. No one can live your purpose except you. So stop offering your mind another way out. Burn the escape plan, stand on your word, and move forward like the outcome is already yours. Because the truth is, it is, if you stop negotiating and start executing without exception. Pain is not the enemy. It's the sign that you're moving in the right direction. It's proof that you're leaving the old behind. Growth never feels comfortable in the moment. It hurts, it stretches, it breaks patterns that have been with you for years. But that's how you change. That's how you build something unshakable inside yourself. The pain you avoid holds the power you need. The pain you run from is the path to the strength you say you want. Everyone wants to be strong until it's time to feel uncomfortable, until it's time to keep going when everything inside screams to stop. But the truth is simple. You can't become unbreakable without breaking a little first. You can't build mental toughness without resistance, and resistance will always come with pain. Pain is the price you pay for power. Not physical pain alone. Emotional pain, mental discomfort, the sting of failure, the weight of pressure. Those things aren't here to destroy you. They're here to build your endurance. You're not weak because it hurts. You're not broken because it's hard. You're becoming more. You're being shaped. And anything being shaped has to be pressed. Look back at every time you grew. It was never in the easy moments. It was in the chaos. It was in the doubt. It was in the dark seasons where you had to fight just to keep going. That's where the foundation was built. That's where character was forged. Pain sharpens you. It strips away what you don't need. It exposes who you are. And in that exposure, you get the chance to build again. Stronger, clearer, more committed. The world tells you to run from pain, to numb it, to avoid it, to hide behind comfort. But comfort never changed anyone. Comfort never made a warrior. Comfort never created a leader. Real power comes from facing what hurts and refusing to back down. When you stand in your pain, you claim authority over it. You say, "This will not break me." You say, "I will use this." That mindset shifts everything. Because now pain isn't your weakness, it's your fuel. Now challenge isn't your barrier, it's your sharpening ground. When it gets hard, most people ask, "How can I get out?" But the strong ask, "What is this trying to teach me? What strength is being built here?" Because inside every struggle is a lesson. Inside every failure is a piece of wisdom. And inside every painful step forward is the seed of your future confidence. You don't become great by skipping pain. You become great by walking through it with your head held high. Not once, not for show, but over and over again, until pain no longer controls you, until your strength becomes automatic. This doesn't mean you enjoy suffering. It means you stop fearing it. It means you stop making it bigger than your purpose. You face it head on. You accept it as part of the process. You understand that transformation has a cost, and you're willing to pay it. Your pain may not be your fault, but your response to it is your responsibility. You can carry it like a burden, or use it like a weapon. You can let it slow you down, or let it drive you forward. The choice is yours. Every time it shows up, you get to decide who's in control. You, or the pressure. And here's the truth. No one tells you. You've already survived so much. You've already overcome storms you thought would crush you. You didn't just survive, you grew. And if you could do it then, you can do it now. Every scar on your journey is a symbol of strength. Every challenge you faced was a chance to become someone greater. So why stop now? Why let pain define the limits of your action? You're being prepared for more, and preparation always comes with pain. But it also brings clarity. It burns away what's weak. It reveals what matters. It pushes you to stop pretending and start rising. You can run from it, or you can grow through it. And every time you choose growth, you win. Even when it doesn't look like winning. Even when it's quiet. Even when no one claps. Because deep inside you know, you're building a kind of strength the world can't see. A kind of strength that doesn't crack under pressure. A kind of strength that walks through fire and keeps moving forward. That strength, it's not born in peace. It's born in the storm. It's not found in ease. It's forged in pain. So lean into it. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it stretch you. Let it show you what you're truly capable of. Because the more you embrace pain, the less power it has over you. And once pain no longer scares you, nothing can stop you. Every action you take today is casting a vote for the future you want. Every small step, every hard choice, every moment of resistance, it all counts. Your future isn't built by chance. It's built by habits, by the quiet things you do when no one is watching. There's no magic switch that turns struggle into success overnight. There's no shortcut to greatness. There's only daily commitment. There's only the grind that most people ignore because it doesn't look exciting. But that grind is where the future is written. What you repeat becomes who you are. What you delay becomes the life you never live. And what you tolerate becomes your new limit. That's why you can't afford to wait. You can't afford to live on someday. Because someday steals everything. It feels safe, but it costs you time. It sounds gentle, but it keeps you stuck. Every time you tell yourself not today, you're giving up a piece of tomorrow. And most people don't see that until it's too late. Until regret speaks louder than motivation. Until they look back and wish they had started when it was still possible. But you don't have to live like that. You don't have to wait for a breakdown to wake up. You don't need permission to build your future. You already have everything you need, right now. What you do with it is your choice. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a clear path to the finish line. You just need to start laying bricks, one action at a time. Even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if it feels like you're not making progress. The truth is, most of the building happens in silence. No one sees the hours you invest. No one applauds the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices. But your future does. It remembers everything. It adds up all the reps you didn't skip, all the distractions you ignored, all the decisions you made to move forward, even when it hurt. That's why every day matters. Not just the big ones, not just the days when you feel inspired. Every day. Because time doesn't care how you feel. It keeps moving. And you can either use it or lose it. Some people think they're waiting for the right time. But time won't give you clarity. Action will. You gain direction by doing, not by standing still. You figure it out as you go. So stop asking if you're ready. Start acting like your life depends on it. Because it does. You don't get another today. You don't get to rewind and try again. You only get this moment, right now. And what you do with it shapes everything ahead. You become what you consistently practice. If you practice discipline, you become focused. If you practice excuses, you become stuck. If you practice action, you become unstoppable. Most people will never realize how close they were, because they gave up one effort too early. They stopped showing up. They broke their promise to themselves. But you're not most people. You're still here. You're still breathing. You still have a chance to make today count. Don't wait for a fresh year. Don't wait for some outside change. Be the change. Start with what you have. Start where you are. And trust that even the smallest actions today are planting seeds for something massive. Your habits today are building your mindset. Your mindset is building your decisions. And your decisions are building your results. That's how success works. It's not loud. It's not glamorous. It's not always rewarding in the moment. But if you keep showing up with purpose, it will compound. The work you do in silence will echo in your results. And one day, you'll wake up in a life that looks completely different. Because you were willing to fight for it. Success doesn't start in the future. It starts now. With one focused day. With one firm decision. With one simple action repeated enough times to become automatic. Don't let your future self look back and wonder what happened. Let them look back and thank you. Thank you for being relentless. Thank you for staying the course. Thank you for not settling. Your future is watching. And it's built by everything you do when it feels like it doesn't matter. But it does. Every second matters. Every decision counts. Every bit of effort is shaping what's coming. So lock in. Focus. Eliminate the noise. Give this day everything you've got. And when it ends, rest knowing you move the needle forward, no matter how small. Because that's the truth no one wants to hear. You build your legacy by what you do today. And if you want a future worth living, you build it now. This is not just another day. This is your moment. Right now, as you listen to this, a choice is standing in front of you. One path leads to comfort, the other leads to change. You can stay still and wish, or you can rise up and move with power. Most people never realize the power of the present moment. They think their life will begin when everything lines up, when the job is perfect, when the fear is gone, when they feel ready. But time doesn't wait. The moment is now. This is the hour that changes everything. Your strength doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from luck. It comes from the way you respond to now. When life pushes, do you step back or do you push back harder? The world won't hand you the life you want. You have to take it. You have to own it. No one is coming to rescue you. No one will carry you to the finish line. You are the answer. You are the weapon. And you've had the power all along. You just forgot. People will doubt you. You'll doubt yourself. But doubt doesn't define you. Decisions do. What matters is what you choose when you feel weak. What matters is what you fight for when no one else believes. You don't need motivation to start. You need decision. You need hunger. You need to tell yourself, right here, right now, I will not waste this chance. Pain will come. Fear will whisper. But fear is not the enemy. It's a sign you're close to growth. It means you're about to break limits that once held you back. Step into that fear. Use it. Turn it into fuel. You're not here to live halfway. You weren't born to blend in. You're not meant to go quietly, to follow the script, to play it safe. You're meant to rise. You're meant to fight. You're meant to walk into your future with your chest out, your head up, and your heart on fire. If you've failed before, good. That means you tried. That means you showed up. That means you have something to learn from. Don't carry shame. Carry lessons. Failure is not the end. It's the invitation to start again. Smarter, stronger, sharper. Time is running. The clock is ticking. And every minute you hesitate is a minute you'll never get back. So don't just think. Don't just wish. Move. Even if it's hard. Even if it's slow. Even if your legs shake and your hands tremble. Go anyway. Courage isn't loud. Courage is quiet. It's the voice that says, I'll show up again today. It's the heart that says, I'm not done yet. And that courage lives in you. You don't have to create it. You just have to let it lead. Let today be the start of your rise. Let this moment be the one you never forget. The moment where you decided that enough is enough, that fear has ruled long enough, that excuses have stolen too much, that time has been wasted for the last time. From here on, it's different. You're not just existing, you're building. You're not hoping, you're doing. You're not sitting back, you're showing up, fully and completely. Push yourself like your future depends on it, because it does. Speak to yourself with fire. Tell your doubts they're done. Tell your weakness it no longer controls the story. Look in the mirror and say, this is my time, not tomorrow, not next month, now. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You need action. You need movement. Because when you move, life shifts. When you move, the fear loses power. When you move, you tell the world, I am not finished. I am just getting started. So take the step, make the call, start the workout, launch the idea, have the hard conversation, wake up earlier, stay up longer, do what must be done, not because it's easy, but because you're done with being stuck. You're done watching life pass you by. You're done settling, done shrinking, done doubting. From this moment forward, your standard changes. Your story shifts, not because someone gave you permission, but because you gave it to yourself. You've waited long enough. You've thought about it long enough. You've played small long enough. This is your time. Make it count. Move like you mean it. Act like everything is on the line. Because it is. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't luck. It isn't talent. It's the decision to act when it's hard. To move when it's scary. To believe when it's dark. You are that person. You are that fire. You are that force. So rise now. This is your time. And you will never waste it again.